Tonight to celebrate Sachin and Miral's marriage. As it's a Thursday night, I know it's been a bit hard for you lot to come as you got work tomorrow, but being good is, I'm sure the free alcohol and the free booze was an incentive.
Yay!
For those people who don't know us, I'm Kunal, Sachin's brother, and this is Ajal, his first cousin. For those of you who do know us, you stuck with us. As you may have guessed, me and Ajal are the best men in the family. Meaning, it means that Sachin's nominated us to be the best men. So obviously he's admitted defeat, saying we are really the best men. So, what can you say about a person who's come from humble beginnings? A man who's now quickly rising to the very top based on his intelligence, hard work, and the willpower to push on where others have failed? A person who's beginning to distinguish himself at the highest level amongst his peers, and where one can say no bad word against him. Right, so that's enough about me and Ajal. Let's start talking about Sachin.
Yay!
Sachin, Sash.
Oh.
We've spent more time on this speech than we have on our senior exams, so you better appreciate it. At auspicious occasions like this, the best men would normally stand up, tell everyone that the groom is a great bloke, 1 in a billion, but truthfully, that's all bullshit. I've known this guy from the day I was born, and it's been a bloody chore. To put it frankly, he's been a pain in the backside. And to be honest, the sooner he gets married and pisses out of Maidenhead, the better. Even his own family would agree with that.
Yeah!
He strolls around Maidenhead like a tramp. In his old white mundi, his fat yellow black lengo, and his battered, crusty Lonsdale trainers, driving around in his Audi convertible with his private Sash P number plate. I still remember a few years ago, the time when Dada turned up to our house with a brand spanking new pair of Lonsdales. And guess what Sash was wearing?
Right, so over the years, Sachin has taught me some great lessons in life, but there's one lesson that he'll never forget that I love.
Yeah, hold the mic up.
Alright, let me start again, yeah? Over the years, Sachin has taught me some great lessons in life, but there's one lesson that I'll never forget that I've taught him, and that's regarding something special, a sharp pencil. This topic's quite funny, but at that time I guess it probably wasn't. During our childhood, Sachin had a tendency to sit down on the sofa without looking behind him. He'll be sitting on some food, some remote, or even someone's hand. You know, he'll crash down into the sofa with all his weight and just basically demolish it. So the bright ideas I usually have, I thought to myself, you know, this is becoming a problem and I've got to sort this geezer out. So as you do, I got a pencil and I decided I might as well give it an extra sharpen. Just before Sachin sat down, I thought, let me put it by his seat. And you know, all I can say for what happened next, I feel sorry. Not for Sachin, but for that big shadow pencil. Sachin was in extreme pain. To make it even worse, he had the joy of my Gaki and my mum bending him over, checking his arse out for a sharp point that might be left behind.
All of it true.
Well, on the bright side, I guess today he still looks behind him.
From a young age, Sachin has always been a hindrance to my life.
Stop now.
I still remember our parents' evenings at school. Our dads insisted we booked appointments with the teachers together, and I always tried to avoid it. Bibi Gaka would sit there and the teachers would say, oh, what a fantastic student Sachin was, and that he should stop studying so hard, you know, and relax more, otherwise he'd burn himself out. However, when the teacher spoke to my dad, it was the complete opposite. Ajal needs to work harder, he easily gets distracted, blah, blah, blah. My mum would have a jumper and vellum ready for me when I got home. And Sash, a box of chocolates and a cake.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Sash. But to this day, Sash will never forget Sash will never forget GCSE maths. We were both in set 1. Yes, I was in set 1. And we did it 1 year early. When the teacher read out our results, he got 60 something and was very close to an A, but got a B. And I got under 50 and scraped a B. It still hurts him to this very day. Sachin has always copied me in life. I buy a new pair of trainers, Sash buys a new pair of trainers. I change my hairstyle. Young age, I said, young age. Sash changes his hairstyle. I go to Portsmouth Uni, Sash goes to Portsmouth Uni. I marry a beautiful girl from Grumsop, and guess what? He makes the same mistake as me. At uni, Sash was known as a bit of a busybody. He would know everyone's business and all the gossip around campus. If you ever needed to know anything, you go to SNN, Sash's News Networks.
You know it, boys.
And then obviously Raj and I would add a bit of salt, bit of pepper, bit of chili powder to these stories and start spreading everywhere. Most of the add-ons were about Sash. To this day, the amount of rumours that went around about him that Raj and I were, spreading, he still doesn't know. Hey, sick ick.
Right, so there's a lot of sentimental stories I could say between me and Sash, but I don't want to bore you guys, so let's just abuse them just a little bit more.
Yay!
Miral, you may not know this, but one of Sash's characteristics is that when it concerns the police, he truly shits himself. Probably about 6 or 7 years ago, when it was me, Aj, and Sachin and one of his friends, we came back home from the cinema, and right outside my house we got pulled over by the police. Having 4 Asians and a flash card didn't really help. The police felt the car was a little bit suspicious and decided to handcuff us. At this point, I seriously have never seen Sash so scared in his life, and I seriously do think he truly shit himself. He was begging for his life that he was innocent, even when he hadn't even done anything. They decided to put us in the police car, and the only way for the police not to clock on, I decided to talk to him in Gujarati. I was saying to him, "Di sala goriao, kasukarane dandone ilakan tak kalitain bagalite." During this time, he decided to go spazzo at me, and he went through his fake anger stages, which Aj will talk about a bit later. He decides to plead with the police and saying that, if he gets a police record, he's going to get struck off the pharmacy register. Whilst I'm trying to calm him down in Gujarati and Sachin spazzing out at me in Gujarati, the police start to clock on that these guys aren't talking English. They started to say, if you're going to talk in English, you don't talk at all. The moral of the story is, Miral, if you get in trouble with police, don't let Sachin deal with it. From what you've heard about Sachin, he cares a lot about his reputation and his profession. He's basically a glorified drug dealer. And apparently they're known as chemists. Not sure what a pharmacist is, so we'll use chemist. There are many chemists here today, so I'm expecting a bit of hostility. But what do they actually do? I know they need to be able to count to 24 or 28, but is there anything else? If you're ill, you go to the GP or doctor, they diagnose you, give you a prescription with all the details on it, the chemist reads the prescription, finds the right medicine, most of the time it's wrong, they count to 24 or 28, usually wrong again. So why do you need 4 years of messing around at uni to get something called an M-Pharm? There's plenty of farms in Maynard to practice this M-Pharming. To top it off, Sash now pretends to be a chemist in an office. Apparently some kind of ethical chemist. To mainly ensure patients are ethically ripped off to the max. And to further to that, his boss's boss, another cousin of mine, is an ethical chemist director. Could
Could you imagine working in the same office as Sachin and Janidbhai, discussing ethical chemist stuff? Please shoot me now. Anyway, now getting on to the juicy part. Who would like to know about Sash's ex-girlfriend? See? I've got a list of girls, their stats, marks out of 10, and I even have some pictures and guest appearances. So can please, ex-girlfriend number 1, come through the door? Shobna? Sash, I'm only messing. My family threatened to disown me, so it has to be off the record. So anyone who wants to know details, especially you, Miral, come and see me later after a few more drinks. And the only problem I have is that the size of the list will take us about a week to go through. I'm not.
Right, Sash, I'm really happy that you found the love of your life, but Miral, you've got to count yourself even luckier that not because you found the greatest guy, but because your brother-in-law has finally accepted you. See, the first time I met Miral was during a friendly match between Tottenham and Barcelona at Wembley. Now, if you don't know this already, in my house, for about 5 years running, I've got these very strict rules about football. No one can enter or leave the room where the football's going on. No one's allowed to eat, drink, or even talk. Or even move, in fact. You sit down, you shut up, and you let me watch the match peacefully. So anyway, during the match at Wembley, I had the honour of sitting next to Miral. All throughout the game, all I heard was her yapping on about some other crap which wasn't related to football. 90 minutes I had to listen to this. The first thing that crossed my mind was not anything about Sachin, but what did I actually get myself into? This girl that I've met only for 2 minutes literally broke every single rule that I've had in my house. However, the more and more I met Miral, the more and more I realised that she's actually the perfect partner for my brother. To make it better for you, Miral, I've decided to scrap these strict rules, only because it's you.
Aww.
Since Miral's come into Sachin's life, he started to act very differently. Him and Ajal used to always take the piss out of me for using all these fancy face products. Oh, how the tables have turned. Ever since Miral came into his life, his cupboard's slowly been filling up with all these eye creams, moisturisers, even face masks. To make it worse, it was only last weekend when Miral's massive brother and cousin came round. In the morning, I was brushing my teeth, and Sachin decided to interrupt me and walks into the bathroom. In one hand, he's holding a face mask. In the other hand, he's holding a tube of Veet. Now, seriously, if you start using Veet, how can you take the piss out of me? Miral, you're going to have to start hiding your cosmetics. Right, so to help you live with Sachin, I've come up with a few tips. Tip 1, he's more fussier than Gordon Ramsay on a bad day. Make sure if you're making him toast, do not, and I'll repeat, do not burn any corners of the toast, or he'll sulk and he won't eat it. If you want to know whether he's lying to you or not, ask him a question and look out for his facial expressions. His lips will start to imitate Elvis, and his eyes will start lighting up. Now, if you want to find out if he's hiding...
Secrets are coming out.
Now, if you want to find out if he's hiding something from you, ask him a question, and the response that you will get is the dumbest thing that you'll ever hear. It was only a couple of days ago when I asked him, are you going to go see Miral? And he was like, huh? What? Who? Who's Miral? On your honeymoon, ban alcohol. All you're going to be seeing is Sash with a bottle of beer in his hand, whether it's 8 AM or 5 PM. To make it worse, in Vegas on a stag, after a heavy night out when we all got wasted, it was about 8 AM, and guess who's knocking on our door? This guy seriously doesn't sleep, so make sure you take some sleeping pills so at least you can knock out and relax. Another tip is to do with remotes. Don't give him or even try to take the remote control out of his hand. From a young age, his prized possession was a remote control. Make sure you make some rules who gets to decide what to watch what. Otherwise you're going to be stuck watching every single soap there is on TV. Right, the last tip, which is the most important tip, is to do with something that he denies, but it's to do with his PMT. Especially when he's hungry. I seriously suggest you don't disturb him while he's watching the TV. Don't disturb him when he's on the phone. Just don't disturb him, full stop. To overcome him, I think the best bet would be to burp him, feed him first, then burp him, say something nice, and maybe rub his belly. We've always got the pencil trick that I've used.
Before I get onto the fake pleasantries, there's one more thing I want to tell Miral about Sachin. You have Einstein's theory of relativity and Newton's theory of gravity. But within us boys, a new theory was created by a far more intelligent person than Sachin, and that's Nikesh Patel.
Yay!
Take a bow, son. Nikesh created Sash's 5 stages of fake anger. Sachin is renowned for his mood swings. I won't go through all the stages, but it starts off with pre-fake anger. This is when Sash mutters and mumbles under his breath when he doesn't agree or like something. This goes through the levels to stage 3, which is fake anger, and this is when he goes into a tirade of abuse. The language is foul and cannot be repeated today, and he even makes his own abusive language up. After this stage comes a full-blown anger, and this is when he morphs into a cross between a buffalo and an ox. Steam comes out of his ears, his eyes turn red, and he grinds his teeth. I remember a time at uni when we were seriously annoying him, so in one swift, brutal motion, he barged Raj, Beej and I out of the way like we weren't even there. Quite rude if you ask me. And finally, the denial and being oblivious stage, where he pretends he doesn't care when he really does, only gives sarcastic answers and sulks for a few hours. But Miral, you've got nothing to worry about. Sash is nothing but a big softie.
Nah.
I think you already know that.
Nah. It's not finished!
Now, jokes aside, the serious and important part. Sachin said initially that the best men need to stand up and say how the groom is one in a million. But God's honest truth, that doesn't do any justice to our brother. Sash is the type of person that you don't find too often. He'll do anything for you, no questions asked. He's the type that will always be there for you, no matter what. And he'll solve any issues that you have, even if it's meaning that he goes out of his way. He would do anything for the people that he loves and cares about. Sachin, I'm grateful that you're my brother and everything that you've done for me, but I also see you as my second dad.
Nah.
I know the fact that if I ever needed him at any time of day or night, he would drop everything and be around in a flash. Times where my dad has needed medicine urgently the weekend, Sash would always be on call to help, and this has been priceless. He's one of the most selfless, honest, generous people that I've ever known, and it's been a privilege and honour to have had him all my life. I've been lucky not only to have him as a brother, but also as my best friend. One sad point is that Sachin's Vaz could not be with us today, and it's always in a grandparent's DNA to see their grandchildren get married. But I know they are both looking down on Sachin and Miral, giving their full blessings for today and the weekend ahead of us. I want to take this final opportunity to abuse Sash a bit more, but I won't. I actually wanted to say how beautiful Miral is looking today.
Yay!
And the fact that both Sash and I have pulled a right pair of belters.
Hey!
We are in fact very lucky that they fit in perfectly within our family. It seems like they've always been a part of it. I want to wish you guys a happy and prosperous life together, with many grandkids for bibinggagan binagahi. Minimum of 6. I know you like to count to 24 or 28, but 6 will suffice this time. You two make a wonderful couple, and God bless you both.
Today marks the start of the wedding functions to come, and in a way you can say it's the start of their married life. When you guys got married, the English marriage, not so long ago, there was something that I wanted to tell you, but I thought I'd leave it till today. You both got married on a Friday, which if you didn't know, is the day of Venus, which is represented by Lakshmi Mata, who is the goddess of love, marriage and wealth. You both wore your wedding diamond rings on a Friday, and if you decide to wear diamonds, the best day to wear them is on a Friday. This proves that it's not just a big coincidence, but it's actually the fact that you two were destined for each other. I want to wish you all the happiness and luck in your journey together. For those of you who have a drink, can you please raise your glasses?
Hey!
To love, life, laughter, and happily ever after, to Sachin Miral. Thank you everyone, and I hope you have a great evening. Now I'm going to pass it over to Miral's friends, and they're going to be doing a speech.